Hello everyone, welcome to our channel Oracle Fusion Cloud 2050. Today we are going to talk about one of the significant activity or task in Fusion lease accounting application. The task is import lease contract from FBDI template. So this task or functionality is given by Oracle where the customers or clients are using third-party application to bring their leases from legacy application to Fusion lease accounting application via FBDI templates. Why? Because the Oracle is supported for only FBDI templates to bring third-party application data or large value of the data to Oracle applications, the cloud. So what are the required details are required? First, we need to have in place supplier name and site, and then discount rates. These three are most important before we're going to populate the data into FBDI templates. And so how to download FBDI template from Oracle repository or from Google. So in the Google, you can type with FBDI templates for Oracle financials. If you search with that name, we can get all the list of FBDI templates for across all the financials application models. So once you download that file, which contains of multiple subsheets, which is available in the template. So in that, there are three sheets are most significant to populate required details. The flow is here: lease details, asset details, and payment details. These three are very, very important to populate the data. Based on these three or four sheets, the lease can be created in the Fusion application. So lease will be having the key important details, which is lease name, start date, end date, discount rates, and business unit, and legal entity. These are all the things will be there. And the lease must and should have one associated asset details. The asset details is a virtual, we can say, which could be maintained under the specific lease details. The lease asset details should have one payment is must. The payment is really helpful for you to generate the schedules for payments to the your lessor, right? So that's how the relationship between these three different tabs. And job. So once we populate all required details in FBDI template, we need to follow the normal process to upload your zip file into UCM account under FinFLA import date. I mean, it's a data. And we need to run the normal jobs, which is load interface file for import process. When you run this process, the system does automatically bring the data from interface table, the data. And then we need to run import program that called as a process lease actions. When you run this import program, the system automatically will bring the data from interface table to base table, which is displayed at the user front end. And finally, we can validate the complete the lease information from the UI, user interface level. Let's go to Google to download a FBDI template for import lease contract sheet. Yeah, so this is the one which I just spoken about here. The row number 12, lease accounting. Under lease accounting, we have multiple FBDI templates are available, like expenses contract amendments imports. This is required when the business user is going to be performing multiple amendments based on the requirement. That time, if instead of going by one, we can use this particular FBDI template. And as part of demo, we're going to use about expense lease contract import. Yeah, this is the one. Expense lease contract import. So object owner is lease contract. UCM account name is FLA fees and lease accounting import. This is the consolidated control file which can be downloaded and enter the data from our side. Sorry. Click on download file. Downloads. Open the file. Click on enable. Yeah. So this is the sheet which we have. So let's yeah. So the very first sheet is talking about Fusion application, import expenses, lease contract interface. So you can go through this instructions and CSV generation file sheet. We'll understand what exactly we need to perform this template. So leases. So here, so this is the columns are important to populate the data. So when you create a manually the lease from the user interface, we cannot see interface lease ID because it is something which is coming through your import data. If you want to understand more about this each and every column, just go and place your cursor, it display what exactly it does. Unique identifier for this lease. You can assign the same value to the asset, lease serials, and payment lines, and everything, which is associated with the subsequently all the activities in the sheet. Okay, let's give that as interface ID number is today's date is 03 and 10 2025 and business unit US1 business unit and legal entity US1 legal entity. This is the legal entity which we have. And lease number would be generated automatically based on our configuration which already we set up. And lease name, I'll give as a October FLA 001. And description also, I will copy the same. And version number or version name, I will keep as a number one. And the target status is ideally we should have the three status. One is draft, completed, and activated. So when you are going to create a or importing any of the leases, first you should keep it as a draft version. Why? Because we can make what are the changes are required or necessary changes can be performed after we imported the data as well. Select draft and party number. Party number is nothing but as which supplier we are going to take the lease. Here the example is 1288. 1288. And asset type. Asset type is generally we can use for property or equipment. We can use as equipment asset type. And what is the primary accounting classification? Either it is belongs to operating or finance and exempt. Ideally, we can use any one of the thing, but our demo purpose, I'm choosing as operating one. And option classes, whichever you want, you can take it up. And lease start and end date. So this is very important to provide it. The date format is very important to provide here. Saying that 2025 or 01/01/2025 and end date is 01 or 31/12/2025. It means 1 year the lease is there. And amortization date also same thing I will give here. Start date and document start date. And document end date would be like as a the lease end date signed. If you want to capture when this lease has been signed or sign off from your lessor, that I can give here as a sample base. And these things are not needed to be provided here. And discount rate index. Here we can give that what we have the prerequisite setup. So it's a 3 years of yes. And rate adder is not required. And proration method would be 360 days or days per month. Let's say example days per month. And migrated lease. If this lease is migrating from the any third party application, if you feel that yes, then we can keep it as yes or no. For now, I'm keeping as no. And remaining fields are as given like flexibility as attributes whichever you want to capture additional information about the leases here. And coming to asset, that keep remember one thing in a mind: the lease or interface lease ID will be associated with the assets as well as. Just copy paste and here asset ID. So here you can provide the asset ID in the different one 01 10 2025. And here this is important interface lease ID. When I go to place this 02 or example, so it means that this particular asset sheet is going to be associated with the interface lease ID. This is the one. And asset number I will give as a blank and item. Inventory item is the most important here to get that one. And model and units and this so and so on. So if you're not giving inventory item here, then system would not able to generate your or CSV file or we couldn't able to import this data into Oracle Fusion lease accounting application. So to find that, what can be done? So let's get me one thing which already imported last time as well as I'll take that as sample base for me. Yeah. So this is the one. Location code is required. So that's all is enough for me to populate the data here and close it off. So here can say here that's all. And lease asset start date. I will give as lease start date and end date. The same as it is here. Copy and then paste here. And remaining things are may not be required to be populated here. So basically what it is saying here assets, it is asking about what is the asset number or what location the your lease is going to be associated. That's what it is we are giving here. And go to asset serials. If you have the multiple things we can assign, otherwise not required to be populate this information here. And payments. So this is very important one. So if it is saying about interface payment ID. Let's say example I'll give as 8585 and interface lease ID is 03 10 2025 and asset ID. Asset ID is nothing but which we have given here. That's the same thing we need to populate over here. So it means that so this payment interface ID is associated with the this particular lease ID and then this asset ID. That's how the system would able to recognize this one. And payment template. The payment template is nothing but as a base rent. I'll give as a base rent. And purpose is here you can choose from the list of values base rent or whatever the things you want to capture here. And payment type, it would be like as a base rent or something what we have you want to give it. Supplier number 1288 and supplier site code is which we have the prerequisite on the screen here. Copy and paste it here. And payment terms are immediate. maybe we can give or not required also. And currency, USD currency, and these things are not, may not be required, and frequency is important to provide. How we are going to make payment to your lessor, saying that either what is the frequency, monthly, one time, quarterly, or semi-annually or annually. Let's say example in our case, monthly basis. And arrears is not required. Say yes, no. And right of use, say yes, and liability is, and intercompany is not required for this, and remaining things are may not be required to be populated here. So the U and V column should be required when are we going to be migrated the leases from third party application. The closing balance can be populated over here. Otherwise, not required in this case. And go to payments lines. So this is very significant to provide it. Why? Because this is subsequently we'll talk about payments one we have chosen here. Payment lines. Example, okay, first we need to populate these all three information. Lease interface or interface lease ID says that 03102025, and interface payment ID which we have given here 8585 8585, and interface line number says that 1, and line type is recurring or stub. Recurring can be used for the 12 recurring payments for this entire lease. That's what it is. Stub you cannot use it here. Says that recurring, and number of payments. The lease start date is 1st January to, and end date is December 2025, which means that 12 months. So let's say 12 months here. And amount, how much amount every month we are going to make a payment to the your lessor, saying that 65,000 per month as a rent. And line start date or end date, if you want, you can provide the dates also here. Example, I'll copy from the lease date here. First payment date. This is the one it is. And remaining things are not needed to be provided here. So remaining these all the fields are may not be required to create lease here, right? And now let's go to, yeah. So we populated the required information and we'll just overlook once again, and then we'll generate the CSV file for this lease. So we given all the required details here. Wherever you see star symbol, those are mandatory to provide the data. Assets, payments, payment lines. So click on the first sheet and generate the CSV file. Yes, no worries. We can save this file on desktop, under Fusion Lease, and here I can keep that, save it. Okay, and save and close it and open the file again. Going back, this is the one which we can see the date and time. Yeah, 1356. Click on to open the file. Double check data is available or not available. Yes, it is available. Click on generate CSV file. It would generate all the, it will go and read all the sheets and generate the file for us. We can save this file on the desktop. Save, save, save until we get the final file. Yes. So finally, we received this pop-up message, CSV and zip file have been created. Say OK. So now we are good. So now go to application level to import the data. So navigate to application after we log in as a user. Go to navigator, tools. So here we have two options generally to upload the data. One is as part of process, we would follow the same, or we can directly navigate to schedule process and from there we can upload the file. But in this demo, we will be going through the first option, which is file import and export. This is the UCM layer where we will be upload the file. Desktop and call out which we have here. The file name is select and say open. And account name is which we have seen in the Oracle repository pin FLA and import. Let me find it once. Yeah, lease accounting here you can see FLA. FLA stands for fees and lease accounting. Import. Save and close. So now what we did, just like upload that file into UCM layer. So next step is navigate to navigator and go to schedules process. Click on schedule new process. Load interface file for import. Just read description, which could be easy to understand. Transfers, setup, or transaction data files from a user specified location to the interface table. It means when I run this program, the system would automatically bring the data from UCM layer to interface table. It means the transfer the data to interface table to import the data. Say okay. And import process. Import process has Oracle is given already as a lease process lease action. This is the program, import program. Select and data file. So here we have the two options again. One is that directly we can pull the data file from your specifically where we load the file or which we had file in available UCM server or layer. This is the one which is available. If you see the date and time here, date and time stamp, select and submit the record. Take this process ID, say OK, refresh. Now system automatically trying to transfer the data from ECM to interface table. We have a number of sheets over the control files. That's why it is taking time to transfer all the data to interface table. Let's wait for some couple of minutes or seconds to complete this process completely. We can see the which we have here. Scroll down. Yeah, still it is running. Succeeded. So next is that go to home, navigate to fees and lease accounting application. Lease accounting, go to leases, task panel, import expenses lease. Click on that. And this is the page where we have access to import further from the interface table. Action type is import. By default, it will come out. And import type is that which one you're going to importing. Now just you can logically understand here lease amendments. If you go and look at this, all the things are available in the Oracle repository. Apart from this, we couldn't able to import any of the data from FBDI templates. So our demo section is new leases and business unit. Under which business unit we are going to importing the data and load request identifier. This is coming from the previous step which we have run the load interface file for import job. It will display automatically. This is the one. So the meaning of this process now, we are going to importing the new lease under this business unit from this particular data file. Submit. Take this process ID, say OK, and go to schedule yes job page. Refresh. It will take a couple of seconds or minutes to complete this process to import the data. Yes, succeeded. So instead of going directly to the Oracle application, I mean to say the lease accounting application, we can see the log file to understand either the process is import the data or not. Click on more, go to text file, rejected due to some reasons. Yes, that would be really good for us to understand why it got rejected. Let's see. Yeah, it is saying payment header. You must enter the asset units. You must provide start date for payment on the leases. So these two we missed out. That's the reason we couldn't able to upload the data. So there's a good sign to correct the information. Going back to our sheet again, payment header. Yeah. See here what it is saying, payment terms and then start date. See, we missed out, right? Just 01/01/2025. And what else we missed out? Let's see that. We must, okay, these are like given. You must enter the asset units. It will be there in your asset tab, unit number 1. That's all. Done. So now close this one and go to your data file here. Remove this one. And generate again CSV file. So this is how we can correct the data based on the error messages. Let us continue to generate CSV file completely. Yes, the file is generated. Now let's go back to application and we'll try to load it. I think already we know that how to upload data file into UCM server. This time I'll directly load the file into interface table from here. Load interface file for import. Say OK. And process name is, the import process name is process lease actions. Search for that. Process say OK. Select the data file. This time we can directly load it to where the file is available. This is the one. Say OK. Click on submit. Take this process ID. Say OK and refresh. If you want to see the specific only this particular job, click on hierarchy and you can see all the related child jobs as well as here. If you expand this program, it will display about that. So, this is the parent job. Under we can see multiple child jobs got triggered. Completed and see just to turn into succeeded. Yes. Click on again and lease process lease action. Say OK. New lease. Business unit is ES1 business unit and process ID would be the latest one and click on submit. Take this process ID, say OK, click on refresh. It would take some couple of seconds or minutes to complete the job. Succeeded. Now let's see the output file. Go to text. Yeah, we can see that imported one lease here. Let's cancel it. Now go to application fees and lease accounting homepage. Go to homepage, click on leases, and what is the lease name which we have given in the FBDI template? Take that one. Lease name we have given October FLA 001. Search with that name here under which business unit? ES1 business unit and expenses leases. Click on search. Lease name here we need to provide, not number. Yes. Now you can notice it here. The system automatically assigned one lease which is latest one as per the setup 9003 and version it says status is dropped version. Click on lease number to view the data. Yes. Just notice all the points, whatever we given in the FBDI template. The same thing is coming up. So OV is nothing but as a, it would represent about your lease tab information. If you see here, right? Status is dropped and supplier name this one. If you go and look at ABC Consulting and equipment lease, this is optional one and start date and end date and start date, end date, document end date, all of them. So here it is coming as a migrated lease. No, why? Because we have not provided the data over there. and remain things as it is. Description same, right? And then asset tab. Click on asset tab. See here, the item name is, this is the one, asset number, and then so on, got created automatically here. And payments. This is very important. This is the payment number lines, right? If you see the down, we can see line number 1 recurring. So how it is coming here? Based on this specific one. Recurring and 1, 12, 65,000. The same thing, it is populated here. Line start date is 1125. End date automatically will pick the based on your lease end date. And the above details are coming from the payments tab. This is the one. See, base rent, how it is coming based on the payment template. Purpose and payment status draft, currency USD, where you can see USD currency and so on. And supplier site and these things, right? This is the supplier number and supplier site. And frequencies monthly basis. Frequencies monthly basis. So this is how you can see frequency here at monthly basis. So this is how we can create or import leases or lease contract from the FBDI template. So further, we can normally process, we can save the records, and then we can do the validations and generate schedules and submit for approvals and finalize your lease contract accordingly. Yeah, that is all about how to import the lease contract from legacy application via FBDI template. Thanks for watching my video. Do subscribe and like and share it. Thank you.